Hello all, this is our first lecture of MIC, that is microprocessor. As I told you yesterday, the 8086 is a first generation of Pentium processor. So our first chapter is 16-bit microprocessor 8086, that is for 8 marks. So on screen you can see the important features of 8086. That is it has address bus, data bus and control bus. Now what do you mean by bus? The bus is a group of wires that can control the parameters in 8086. So address bus is for putting a data for a particular instructions, putting address or generating address for particular instruction. Data bus is for processing a specific data for a specific command, and control bus is used for control actions like transmitting, receiving bits, or making internal operations. Then 8086 supports pipelining, means it can execute a number of tasks at a time. So this is called as a pipelining. Then it has a two operating modes, that is minimum mode and maximum mode. According to that modes, it will do the operations according to speed. Then 8086 has memory banks. Then it supports memory segmentation, means it has a very large memory, and it supports memory segmentation. Because of that segmentation, large memory is divided into segments, so that we can easily use different parts of segments, or we can say that memory segments, as per our requirement. It supports 256 interrupts. Also it has a 16-bit input output addresses. So basically 8086 is a 16-bit microprocessor, means it can process a 16-bit data. Then it consists of 29,000 transistors, HMOS type. It operates on 5-volt DC supply. It is available in 40-pin IC. So it provides 256 types of vector software interrupts. The instruction set is powerful, flexible, and can be used for high-level languages. So instruction set means it is nothing but the commands which we are going to use in 8086 programming. It provides 20 address lines, so it can provide 1 megabytes of memory. So if we are talking about address lines, the address lines is nothing but the memory which is used in a 8086 microprocessor. So it has 20 address lines, means it can access 1 megabyte of memory. From 20 address lines, 60 address lines are multiplexed with data, which is named as AD0 to AD15, and remaining 4 address lines are also multiplexed with status signal. This multiplexing, we can say that it is used to reduce the number of wirings, or it is used to utilize address and data pins together. In later pin function of 8086, we will see how multiplexing is done. Then 8086 generates 16-bit input output address, so it can access maximum 64 kilobytes input output devices. So as I said, according to address line, the microprocessor is able to access memory, and according to data lines, it is able to access input output devices. So by using 20-bit address lines, it can access 1 megabytes of memory, and by using 16-bit input output address, it can be able to access 64K input output devices. Then it is operated in maximum and minimum mode. Also it supports multi-programming. As I said, it has a feature of pipelining, so it supports multi-programming. It provides a separate instruction for string operation. Then it operates in single processor and multiprocessor configuration by using maximum mode and minimum mode. It provides 6 byte instruction queue for pipelining of instruction execution. Then these are the some important features of 8086. Then this is the architecture of 8086. In that you can see that the whole architecture is divided into two types: bus interface unit and execution unit. In bus interface unit you can see that there is memory interface, ALU, and ES, CS, DS and IP. These are the segment register used. Then different types of buses are used. Then you can see the instruction queue, that is 6-byte instruction queue is used. And in execution unit you can see there is 16-bit and 8-bit registers are used, that is AH, AL, BH, BL, likewise SP, BP, SI, DI. All these are 8-bit and 16-bit instruction. Then arithmetic logic unit is there. Then operating operands and flags are there. This architecture later we'll see in detail. So this is all about architecture overview. Now we'll see first about a pin function of 8086. First we'll see how many pins it has. And so this is the pin diagram of 8086 on your screen. You can see that this is a 14-pin IC. It is a Intel 14-pin 8086 16-bit microprocessor. All of you know about ICs because in digital we have learned all the logic gates, which is also available in IC, means integrated circuit forms. So all the gates is of 8-bit or 16-bit, 8-bit or 16 pin ICs, but 8086 is a 40-pin IC, so it is quite big because it is a processor. Now I will explain the pins of 8086. The AD0 to AD16, the pin number 16 to pin number AD0 to AD16, AD0 to AD15. You can see the AD0 is pin number 16, AD1 is pin number 15. Likewise, pin number 16 to pin number 2 is AD0 to AD14, and pin number 39 is AD15. So we'll first see what are these pins. Now A means address and D means data line. These lines are time multiplexed bidirectional address data bus. Bidirectional means what? By using these pins we can send data or we can receive data, right? So it's not only about data. These lines are multiplexed with address also, so we can put the addresses of particular data on these lines. Now whenever we give any command to our processor, so that command is works in machine cycle, right? Like waveform, that is we have previously seen waveforms in our DT subject for flip-flop, or we can say that counter or shift register. So that waveform or that timing diagram is nothing but machine cycle. In processor we call that machine cycle. So whenever we give any command to our processor, that command is operates or process in machine cycle. So machine cycle has a different time periods or time cycles. So during first clock cycle, these lines uses or carries lower order 16-bit address, and during next time cycles, that is T1, T2, T3, they will carry, these lines will carry 16-bit data. Means AD0 to AD15, these address lines, first they will put or set address for particular command, and in next time period they will carry data. Means same lines are used for accessing address as well as setting data, right? Then AD0 to AD7 lines carry lower order byte of data, and AD15 to AD8 to AD15 carries higher order byte of data. Now what do you mean by this lower order or higher order? So the data used in 8086 is of long string, is of a big size. So microprocessor internally breaks it in two parts, that is lower order and higher order. So for accessing this lower order and higher order, these lines are also separated in two groups. So AD0 to AD7 for lower order data and AD8 to AD15 for higher order data. Then you can see the pin number 38, 37 and 36. These are the A16 to A16/S3, A17/S4, A18/S5, A19/S6. Now A means address and S means status. Means these four lines, these four address lines are multiplexed with status lines, right? So these lines we are using for setting address as well as checking status of microprocessor, right? Now what do you mean by status? As I said that the memory of 8086 microprocessor is very big memory. So it is separated in different parts, which is called as a segments, and it is stored in segment register, or each segment is belongs to one register. So this big memory is divided into segments, and we have to check the status of each segment register, whether it is empty or whether it is full with data. So segment register nothing but shows you the memory remaining in register, and checking the status of memory in each segment we are using the status pins, right? So status pins nothing but checking the availability of memory in segment register. So these pins A16, A17, A18 and 19 checks the status of segment register, right? In that S4 and S3, these two pins checking the status of segment register. Means S0 and S3 both are 0, then ES, extra segment register, is available for operation. If S4 and S3 status is 0 1, means S0 is 0 and S3 is 1, then stack segment register is available for operation. If S4 is 1, S3 is 0, then CS means code segment register is available for operation. If both both pins are high, S4 and S3, then data segment register is available for operation. Then S5 is an interrupt enable status. Now what do you mean by interrupt? Interrupt is nothing but small program which we are going to execute first, or its priority program that we have to execute first. Means if some operations is going on microprocessor, or some program execution is going on microprocessor previously, and at any instant of time some small execution is needed as per application or as per priority, so we can stop the previous execution and we can use that small program for execution, because we have to execute that program first. So we can stop the previous execution and we are able to take that small program. So that small program is called as an interrupt. So these interrupts are identified by pin number S5, which is status signal. Then next pin is 34, pin number 34, BHE bar S7. This is bus high enable status. When this signal is low, it indicates that transfer of data over high order lines. Means this is active low signal, because you can see that BHE bar means if we are giving 0 to it, because of that bar it will activate, because 0 gets converted into 1 and that pins becomes enable. So this pin identifies that as we able to transfer data on higher order lines, right? Then BHE bar pin with A0 determines whether the byte or word will transfer from or to memory location. Means nothing but bus high enable, this pins tells you that bus is available for transfer of data to memory, or can we access the data from memory. Means it is a bidirectional pin, right? Then pin number 32 is RD bar. It is active low signal which is used to read the data. Now we have to read the data either from memory or either from input output devices, right? Means we can read data internally or we can read the data from other devices also. So this pin is used to read the data either from memory or input output devices. Then pin number 22, this is ready. It is active high input signal. It indicates that the other peripheral devices is ready to transfer a data. Now what do you mean by peripheral devices? The microprocessor is used to transmit or receive data from memory as well as other input output devices. Means we can interface other input output devices to it, right? Now what do you mean by other input output devices? Means we can connect memory card, we can connect audio card, video card, or we can connect any motor, or we can connect any device to control it, right? So these input output devices are nothing but peripheral devices, right? So ready pins checks what? It indicates that the other peripheral devices is ready to transfer data. Means if we want to send any data from any other devices, we can say that if we are using one card, memory card, and we want to send some signal to our processor from that memory card. So first we have to check that microprocessor is ready to accept that data, right? Because internal so many operations is going on in processor, right? Because this processor is nothing but CPU of our computer. So many operations are going on inside the processor. So while sending or before sending or before taking the any signal from other peripheral devices or input output devices or outsider devices, we have to check that our processor is ready to receive that signal or not. So this work is done by pin ready, right? So this pin is used to check that other peripheral devices is ready to transfer data or not. When this pin is low, it indicates that 8086 is in wait state, right? Means 8086 performing other operations and you have to wait for some times, right? So this pin shows you the status of 8086. Is it ready or is it is in wait state, right? Then pin number 21 is reset. It is used to reset the system, whole system, right? If you this is active high pin, so if you enable this pin, then your processor will reset, everything will stop, and when you again start the processor will start from zero, right? Means resetting means you are erasing all the data, or you can say that you will restart the any work inside the processor. Then INTR. This is the interrupt request. This is only request. Interrupt means I have explained you what do you mean by interrupt. The interrupt is a small program or any small process which we have to execute first by uh, stopping first execution. Means nothing but interrupt is the, you can say that, disturbance in processor, because processor is executing previous programs, and interrupt means the small program you have to execute at that instant of time, because it has priority, or it application wise we have to execute this first. So interrupt means small another program. So interrupt request means processor first checks, or we can say that another pins, that means ready pin checks whether processor is busy, or means is it is in wait state, or it can handle the interrupt. So we have to send the interrupt request on pins. So it is a level trigger interrupt request input. If any interrupt request is occurred, the processor enters the interrupt acknowledge cycle, right? And this acknowledge cycle is identified by pin number 24, that is INTA bar, means interrupt acknowledge. If there is any interrupt and we want to execute that interrupt, the pin number 24 gives a signal that interrupt has come came come, and we have to execute it first, right? Then NMI is another internal pin, that is non-maskable interrupt. Now these interrupts are software interrupts. It can identified by processor internally. Then test bar is also internal pin. It is used to test the status of coprocessor. Coprocessor means we can interface another processor to our 8086 processor. So test pin check, is it possible to interface another processor with our 8086 processor, right? Then clock input is very important. The significance of clock input we have studied in digital techniques. So clock is used to hold the data. We have used it in flip-flop, counter, then shift register, right? So clock means it provides timing to processor operation. It is nothing but frequency of a processor. So processor frequency is from 5 megahertz to 10 megahertz. Then this IC is operates on plus 5 volt VCC supply. So pin number 40 is VCC. So you have to give plus 5 volt to start this IC. Then pin number 1 is ground. To complete the circuit, we have to provide the pin number 1 to ground and pin number 40 to plus 5 volt VCC. Then pin number 33 is min/mx bar. Mn means minimum and mx bar means maximum. These are the operating modes of processor, minimum mode and maximum mode. So if a processor doing operation internally, we have to select a minimum mode, and if our processor wants to transmit or receive data from other devices like input output devices or peripheral devices, or we have interfaced other devices with processor, then processor have to work in maximum mode. So this pin is used to select the operating modes of minimum or maximum of 8086, right? If you want to select a minimum mode, you have to give 1 for this pin. So automatically for MX mode it will converted into 0. And if you want to operate your processor in maximum mode, so you have to give 0 to this pin. So automatically it will convert it to 1 and MX mode will turn on, right? So this is for selecting the mode operation. Then INTI bar, I have explained that interrupt acknowledge. When processor receives INTR interrupt request, then this is acknowledged by generating this signal. Then pin number 25 ALE address/enable. This is active high signal. This is used to check the availability of valid address on AD0 to AD15, right? AD0 to AD15 are multiplexed line, address data multiplexed line. So the proper address is given to each line for specific data. If that address is wrong, this will indicate by ALE pin, that is address/enable. Then pin number 26 DN bar data enable. It is active low signal issued by the processor indicating that availability of valid data over AD0 to AD15. जसं address/enable प्रॉपर ॲड्रेस आहे की नाही चेक करते, तसंच DEN बार AD0 to AD15 वरती